If you ever seen a child freeze like this during math,
It might be easy for you, it might not be easy for me.
23 minus 1.
Well, I don't.
23 minus 1.
But how would I know?
you're watching their brains hit a wall, not from lack of effort, but because of how we teach math, and more importantly, how children build understanding. Let's break this down. Learning happens most effectively when new information connects with what you already know. Making sense of information through these connections is at the heart of what it means to understand something. In learning science, we call this a schema, a mental framework that organizes and interprets information. You can think of it like a filing cabinet in your brain that stores everything you know about a particular concept. For example, when I say the word shoe, what comes to mind? Some people picture sneakers or hiking boots. Others think of ballet slippers, high heels, or Crocs. These are all different kinds of shoes. So the next time you see someone wearing something on their feet, your brain quickly checks to see if it fits in that shoe schema, and if it does, it adds to your mental cabinet of what counts as a shoe. So how does this concept of a schema relate to math and how we learn it? In the video I played earlier, the child didn't understand how to do the subtraction problem. In other words, she didn't have a schema for interpreting that kind of problem. The minus symbol has to connect to something they already know, like the idea of taking away. That's how their initial schema for subtraction begins. The problem is, this is often the only way it's taught. After hundreds of problems, students unknowingly form a very rigid schema. Subtraction is the act of taking a smaller number away from a bigger one. That becomes their running mental model. This is precisely why seeing a problem like 5 minus 8 seems impossible. It directly contradicts their schema because according to their rule, you can't take a bigger number away from a smaller one. Now, in subjects like math and science, encountering new representations of familiar concepts can be especially challenging. Without a flexible schema that helps learners recognize familiar ideas in new forms, the learning process can start to break down. However, once the learner is open to these new schemas and work with them, understanding deepens and learning becomes more interesting because new connections are being built on older ones. At A.C.K. Academy, we center our approach on building these flexible schemas. This means we start with really understanding numbers and what they mean on a number line. When I first began working with students in 3rd and 4th grade, I was surprised to find they hadn't been introduced to negative numbers and wouldn't be until middle school. Students need to work within different schemas so they can actively connect the different ways concepts work together. Take subtraction, for example. We don't teach it as just one thing. Instead, we connect the familiar taking away model, if you have 8 apples and eat 3, how many are left, to the difference model. If I have 8 apples and you have 3, how many more do I have? And also the completion model. If we need 8 apples for a pie and only have 3, how many more do we need? By solving these different types of problems, your child sees that the same equation, 8 minus 3 equals 5, can represent very different situations. This kind of schema building turns subtraction into a flexible and powerful tool rather than a single rigid rule. Exposure and deliberate practice are the key. Real learning happens when students sees the same idea from multiple angles and starts connecting them. That's how we update schemas and how understanding grows. Hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 8.